Hello dear watchers, welcome to another episode of Friday Talks. My name is Denise Sultan and I'm the External Affairs Officer in ADAlilar. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone, especially our guest Rasmina Gurbatova, for coming. Some of you may ask, what is the ADAlilar Journal? Well, it is a journal founded in AD school in 2019, but it's more than just a journal. Since then, we've hosted numerous interviews and events, both in and out of AD school. Our main mission is to showcase the community, our school's values, educational standards, and social life. Since 2019, we've published 4 issues of our journal, and with the fact that everything in the journal is done by our school students, seeing the quality of it makes me very proud. And today, as a small gift, we would like to present you the last issue of our journal. We hope you like it.
Thank you so much. Wow, good job.
As I mentioned before, I'm Inci Hüseyinli. I study at 10th grade, and
I'm Madina Khalili. I also am a classmate of Inci, and we are really glad to meet you here. So how are you today?
I'm good since I'm here.
Thanks, we are even happier to see you here. So I would like to move to the first question.
Sure.
Could you please give us a brief information about you and your company to our students?
Resm is the first jewelry brand of Azerbaijan that was started. I started the company in 2012, but the idea came in 2011. Back then I was working at the World Bank, and I started growing interest in our national ornaments, and I came with this idea to do something to blend our national ornaments with some other medium, and I started with garments, and then I moved to jewelry, and I thought that jewelry would be something our ornaments are precious and jewelry is precious, and that would be great to do something to blend those two, and jewelry will be something that you can pass from generation to generation. And hence, I started the company in 2012, so it's been 12 years already. The company now, what we do production and sales of jewelry and scarves, and like textile as well.
So, switching from business to jewelry, was it difficult, especially in Azerbaijan?
It wasn't. I was working at the World Bank. It was more like international organization and we were doing different types of projects. Of course, it was a bit challenging because I used to work in the international environment, and then I started the business in the local environment, and it took a little bit of time to adapt and adjust. But back then the business environment was a little bit complicated. But again, I really wanted. I was moved by the idea. I was very fascinated by the idea, and that what gave me. I was very confident in what I'm doing.
And I was watching some videos and doing some search about you, and I was really impressed that you're not only interested in one field of art, but also I saw that you are interested in some poetry. Like you even held event in Mugham Center, and you also interested in music.
Doesn't work?
No.
And also you're interested in music, and as you can see there are some members of our school here, and they will also be watching it on our YouTube channel, on our magazine. And what would you advise to the students of our school to improve their artistic side, or do you think that it's something inborn?
No, I genuinely believe that you can given that you have this desire to do something, like to sing or to draw, you can work on this area. Of course, there are some in any area, like someone who is good at math, more inclined to do something better, but it's like certain percentage. A lot depends on your desire. If you want to improve your, if you want to be a singer, for example, again, there's a lot of components involved, but if you want to sing, I genuinely believe that every person can sing. I mean, can learn to sing and can do something. I started writing music. I actually was interested in music. I was singing from my childhood, but in my case, my parents, they were not really prone to that idea that I would go to music school. This is why I end up at diplomatic school. So I studied international relations. But further in life, I really, since I was very interested and I was, that was something that I was very passionate about, I went back to this idea and I start learning, I start improving my skills even in singing, and I was writing music as well, but writing is more inspiration based. You just write whatever comes to you without really wanting to write. So it's this thing is a bit different. But again, getting back to your question, I think that every person, given that he's interested, like if someone is interested in drawing, every person has his own, like I'd say, entry level, like the call it a talent or abilities or skills, but you can absolutely, if you are disciplined, if you are dedicated to it, you can improve your skill to the next level.
It was really interesting. Thanks for your...
Yeah, so it was really interesting to hear, and I came across the questions that for you, identity of a person matters a lot. What is their true passion, what they like, and to improve their goals. So what if someone just doesn't know what's their passion, doesn't know what's their entry level or what they want to do?
I think it comes eventually at some stage of your life. If it's, I don't believe that like person has no interest at all. You, one way or the other, you have some interest in your life, right? I mean, what you like to do at your free time, what are your hobbies, what are you good at, what you enjoy doing. Even like some people, they enjoy working at Excel spreadsheets, right? I mean, it also happens. So I don't believe it's, if it doesn't come now, that doesn't mean that that's all. I mean, you won't have it. It might change during your lifetime. You like doing something and then you grow passion for something else. Maybe that would be a new industry, something absolutely new. You know that industries are growing fast and we get some, you know, some new things coming to the market. I think it's not the question of what do I do, what is my passion, and you shouldn't focus on that. You should focus more on what you enjoy doing, even what you like watching, or what is your, I mean, whenever you have the free time, what you are, what is that, and then work towards this direction. This is again, because sometimes people have people are very specific, and most of the time we envy those people, right? Like person is very good at one thing and he does this thing and that's it. But it doesn't work for a lot of people, because for a lot of people is that we have different interests, and then we have this question about what I should do. There's a lot of we should consider a lot of social pressure as well, because we are social creatures, right? We're not by our own, and most of the times our parents, our society, it also influenced. And sometimes this is also something very important. You should think what is mine and what is something that I'm hearing from all the, you know, from all the resources, especially from our parents, from our moms and dads, and is that truly mine, or I do it because someone else wants me to do what it is. It's a bit complicated, but I think that it's not an easy process in a lot of cases, but this is the question mainly to yourself. I mean, to yourself. And again, like it also should match with, if you do it as a work, not only as a hobby, it should match with what the market can offer you or what you can offer to the market. There is a lot of components. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not easy. I think it's one way or the other. There's a lot of components, but most important thing where it starts from is that if you want to do something, it should really come from inside. Like, I really enjoy doing it, even if it's like, again, doing marketing, doing some presentation. It's something that keeps me, keeps me happy, gives me happiness, because if you don't have it with time, when you do something that you don't want, it takes your energy. It doesn't give you energy. It takes your energy, and sometimes with the time, it can. Since it doesn't bring you happiness, it decreases your quality of life also. I don't know if I answered your question.
Thank you very much. Everyone is unique after all, and we all have our different interests
Absolutely.
in life, right? So, you have any questions?
Yes, I have one more question for you. You said that in one of your interviews, you in summers you stayed with your grandma,
Yes.
and especially you enjoyed being in nature, spending time in nature, and this kind of inspired you to become more creative. And do you think that it would encourage youngsters to spend time in nature to improve their artistic side, or this is something personal?
No. This is a universal thing. Like, we came from nature, right? And for us, our being in nature, this is one of the things in psychology as well. It really helps us to get in balance. We become more happy in a way that when if there are trees, like the fresh air, this is something that every person needs. Like, it's just because life changed today. We have a lot of, there's a lot of lifestyle change. So not a lot of us spend a lot of time in nature. And the way we live now, we live in the buildings. We have our life pace is different. But I genuinely believe that every person should allocate some time to spend time in nature. I'm telling that, and I understand that I didn't do it for a long time because of the work, because of some interests, and again, that's interesting because especially at some age, I think you are at this age now. For example, I remember that at some point I loved being at nature, like with my grandma, and then at some point, since I was at your age, it's like you want to spend more time with your friends, hanging out, or just playing games instead of or doing something, watching, instead of just going and being in the nature in the forest or whatever. So it depends on your life again. At what stage you are, but overall, for all people, I think it's very important to be in nature, to spend some time at nature, to reconnect to yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. When we feel that we are almost burn out, and we go for a walk in nature, or
Yes.
we come closer to nature, we feel that we are refreshed. Now we're feeling better. Thanks.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of nature and generally the background around us, and as you said, it really matters a lot for a development of a person. So, would you ever think of changing the place you're living, go to some place with a better nature instead of staying in a city for personal enjoyment, or just?
I actually, that's one of the things that I'm one of the important. For at my stage now, I'm thinking about that because I feel like I need to be at nature more. But now I live in a city, and again, it has its own advantages. But and plus, I have my teen daughter, and she wants to be in the city. She doesn't want to live somewhere, where you should travel, or And here we don't have a lot of. In Baku, we don't have a lot of places apart from where you have, you know, forests or the various things where like nature is in abundance. But yeah, I would maybe at some point I would really consider spending time more at places where nature is more available.
Yeah, thank you very much for your answer.
But what about changing your country? Have you ever think of moving from Azerbaijan? And did you face any difficulties about your job or your personal life, like living in Azerbaijan?
That's an interesting question because actually, if I'm very open, when I was, I really wanted to go to study to another place, but back then I had some difficulties with my parents. They were not very happy about this idea, and then I got married. I had kids, so it became more complicated because, like, unfortunately, my spouse and he didn't want to move, and then you have kids and you have all your setup. I had work here. I genuinely think it's good to change environments for your personal development. I traveled a lot, but I didn't really live somewhere for a long time apart from here. And I had a lot of opportunities, to be honest, to move to a lot of. I had like job offers, and there was a lot of opportunities. But when I established Resm, it was something linked to our culture, and I was more into living here and staying here rather than moving somewhere. But again, I won't say I don't consider this option as well. What I really like traveling. I like seeing other cultures and being and staying in other places to reflect on how people live, what their lifestyles, and I'd say again, I don't exclude this chance of I can go. Now I'm more, I am more capable of like moving with. I don't have a lot of limitations, but again, since I do something here, and I enjoy what I'm doing, I'm still here. But again, for my daughter, I have elder daughter. She's not here. She studies abroad, and she travels a lot as well. And I can see how changing place influenced her. She became more independent. At least she knows what she wants, what she really wants, not because we wanted her to do something or like her parents wanted or something. I think it's very good. Changing environment is very good for understanding yourself better, because you find yourself in different environment, but it's still, it's you, and you see how this environment reflects you and how you are in this environment. So, yeah.
Really interesting, thank you. But what about going back to your teenage age? Which country would you like to live in? Would you like to move?
In teens, I really wanted to study in Great Britain, in London. Then I wanted to go to US, and since I was studying at international relations, I had plenty of chances to participate in all of programs. And France, because I was studying French and I was interested in culture. But interestingly enough, when I further traveled to the countries like for US, again, depends on what I really understood is that when you're young, it's more about, and you have these opportunities now, it's more about being in a place, seeing the place. It's a little bit different. When you're elder, it's more about, it's more about, at least for me, it's more about your community. It's more about what you're doing. So it's a little bit different, because when I traveled when I was younger to the countries, the way I perceived living in these countries, and how I travel now, it's a little bit different. But at teenage, I really was interested in US, because US is vast. It's so different. it's different everywhere. Like in every like east side, west coast, east coast, it's like absolutely different. UK, because it's multinational and it has a lot to offer, and it's a center for a lot of things. And for example, when I went to the program to New York, I stayed there for like 2 months, and I would really want to live there when I was at my 20s, because it's very dynamic. It has a lot of, it's not easy, but it's challenging. So challenge is always, I think, this is how I felt. It can be different I have a lot of friends who live in New York now, but for some people it's very tiring, it's very overwhelming, the city itself, the same as London. But for me it was like mainly US, UK and France.
You have anything?
Yeah, I want to ask, as I notice your challenges in your teenage years and years, would you change something about your years or tell your child self something?
I would, child depend on teenage. I think we all go through the same, through the same processes. And it's always like this. Like I have 2 kids, and my elder one, she's 20 years old now, and I see, I was witnessing what she did, or how she developed, and I understand. And the other one, she's 13 now. She goes through the same, through the same patterns, and I see kids like you and everywhere, and I know that we all have our pattern. It's not like, okay, I'm elder now, I know a lot of things, I have experience, but even if I had this opportunity to come to my teenage and say, do this like this, do this like that, I don't think it would change a lot, because we all need to go through our past to learn something, to understand something. You cannot say, if I tell you now, don't worry about your exam, it's nothing, it won't change anything. You still will, because this is how this is your feelings, this is your first exam, or you enter to university. If you wanted somewhere, you didn't go there, you would be upset. If I come and say that, it doesn't matter, it won't influence on you on the 10 years, no, you won't, you'll still be upset. Maybe a bit less, but still you'll be upset, and this is your experience. But this is why I think that apart from, it's always good to have someone who is wiser than you, who can guide you, advise something to you. But still, I think that every person should go his own way, and it's beautiful. I mean, his own way is beautiful. Like, it's mistakes and good things that you did. So I would want to change some things for sure. Maybe some things that wasn't really didn't depend on me in my life preferences or decision making. Because especially at our generation, we were more influenced by our parents, and the times were a bit different, especially with our culture. Now, I think culture is a bit different. But overall, I think it's just I live my past, and I'm living my past. So it is what it is. It's really what I would really. And I'm still learning to do that. It's not to regret about some things that you didn't do or did wrong or did right. This is a very good character feature that every person, I think it's very important for every person. Some people are better at this, some people are not. I'm the one who is not. I'm always, especially before, I always was thinking, had I done this, if I did something like this, I would be like this, and it's not healthy. It doesn't give anything good to you. The good thing is that I'm here at my life stage now, and the good thing what I do further, what I do from this point. For you, it's a heaven in here still. But again, I mean, It's even if you do mistakes, these are your mistakes. The good thing is to analyze, to see why, what happened, and you. I mean, the good thing is to know that you will do mistakes, and it's normal. I mean, one way or the other, we cannot be perfect.
Yeah,
So.
thank you. But frankly, it's really hard to accept our mistakes. Sometimes we
It
just
is
blame
absolutely.
ourselves.
It is very, very hard to accept mistakes because we always see ourselves better than we are. We see that we start blaming ourselves. This is another extreme, that we're not good enough, that we did something, we could have done this better, or blaming others. This is also another thing. So yeah, it's not easy to accept mistakes at any stage of your life. So.
Ingi, would you like something?
Yeah, I would also like to add that yes, that's true that all the mistakes that we do today are a good lesson for us not to repeat them in future. Like when you stumble into the same stone for 2 times, you won't repeat it for the 3rd time, and that will be a really great lesson for us when we do mistakes. But now I would like to move to talk a little bit about your company.
Yes.
Because this is really popular among Azerbaijan people, and I really love the way you design it, and they are all handmade, they are all done individually. And also I would like to learn that how do you feel about spreading the Azerbaijan's tradition, culture via your products, via your company?
I feel very good about it. This is something that I really, really like. I'm passionate about our symbols, our culture, and it really inspires me. So what I really like creative process. When I have some idea and then I draw it and I do it and we produce it. And then I see people that like these ideas and they get inspired, and then I get very inspired, and this is the circle. I think this is why I still go on, because doing business is a bit harsh. I mean, it's not easy. It's challenging, but it's good at the same time. It's interesting, but it's interesting when you're really, really passionate about what you're doing. Or you should be very passionate about money. Like if you're passionate about money, it doesn't like you want to earn, and you earn it through different. I mean, you do something. You sell something. You do some connections, or you do some products. That's also works. So in businesses, 2 things are very important. So you should be passionate about either your product, what you're doing, and then you don't think about money just come because you do something that you like, and something that you like is successful. It's needed in the market and stuff like this. Or you're passionate about money and you want to make money, you want to earn more. So in my case, I'm really passionate about what I'm doing, and even when and I had this stages when I was like, I don't want to do, I wanted to do something more, and then I was like, okay, no, I don't want to go there because it's too much. And again, I'm more of a creative on this side, so I really like creating things rather than expanding my business and going to and building the schemes. But what keeps me inspired is to to search, to learn about our culture, and to spread the word about our culture, heritage, and ornaments overall, and some ideas, symbols. And symbols, they are universal. They're not. I wouldn't say when I start researching, it's not like these are Azerbaijani symbols. If they're Oriental symbols, we are part of the big culture, right? And we under this culture, this is how the symbols developed here, and then in other countries or of the same culture, you still have this symbols. Moreover, when it comes to tribal symbols, those symbols are universal. You can find the same symbols as you can find in our culture, also in South Africa or South America, because they're tribal, because people use the same symbols, things that were important for them. And this is what inspires me as well.
This is really encouraging, inspiring to see your passion to your work. And one thing that you also mentioned in your speech was that there are some companies that are like Resm. Okay, this is a really well-known, famous company all over Azerbaijan. There are some companies that are producing like clay products to your products, and like kind of copy or try to like continue your tendency. Like, does it bother
me?
you?
There are two components. First, when someone does something related to our heritage and our like carpets, and okay, I understand that I inspired someone, so I gave this idea and someone started doing it. And this is again, I'm not the owner of our heritage, and everyone will live in a this is our common heritage, and if people do something linked to it, it's not like I should be bothered with. I'm not bothered. I'm more. I'm happy that a lot of products nowadays appeared that does something with our cultural heritage. What I'm bothered about though is when something not quality. I mean, when the products are not quality ones, and someone just, you know, gamble within the work was they use our patterns in a very unquality products, and they sell it just because people buy it. And it's not. I don't like seeing our patterns or our symbols or our ornaments on a very unquality products. That bothers me a lot, because for me our symbols and our ornaments are precious, and what I do, I'm very careful about how we use them. So I think the mission is to beautify them rather than, you know, have this very cheap copies of something on, you know, even on jewelry. You can see very cheap copies. I don't like seeing it. The second thing is that yes, some companies they use my designs, and it's different. It's not like when you use carpets, that's perfectly fine. But when they use, again, they do very cheap copies of my designs, that starts bothering me. Plus, there are people who used to work at my company, and then they went and started their company, but they don't do the quality work. If had they done quality work, I will be fine with them, with it. But when they do a cheaper product, and they don't, again, the quality is not there. Again, every product has its own market, and it's absolutely fine. But when they use some forms, which originally was beautiful, but then they put it in some, you know, they put it in some cheap context. This is why context. I'm yes. With this, I'm bothered. I'd say.
Okay. Thanks for your sharing your ideas with us. Madina, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so quality matters a lot for you because it represents our country, right? And as an Azerbaijan, I'm very happy to hear that our culture is spreading throughout the world. And generally, I feel like business tortures mental health. There are many like problems. Even that copying, honestly, I think I would be really mad if someone did that to my company. So what was one quote or something that made you go forward instead of just giving up on this?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It's not easy doing business, and sometimes I mean, doing business is not easy. And sometimes I ask myself, I mean, it all started because I like drawing, and now I have to manage all this, like the big company. It's not very big, but still, it's like it's 20, 25 people, and I have to deal with all the issues. And there's a lot of issues that you have to deal with, finance issues, with people, with age. There's a lot of things that sometimes I get very frustrated about it. And there's a lot of issues, like someone wants to, you know, take advantage, or there's a lot of different issues. But I had my ups and downs, and but again, when you like what you're doing, when you know why you're doing it, it's not when you have the reason, you know, it's all about the senses that why you're doing, what keeps you going, why are you waking up every morning, why it is important for you. when you have the answer to those questions and you go on, I mean, then it's not like, because some things, for example, during my the entire career, I had this temptations of, let me do something else. I wasn't passionate about it, but I thought that it's a decent like business that I can invest in, or I can do it as a, I can do it because it's either it's demand is there in the market, or I know that there is a niche, you can do it, but I'm not passionate about it. And for me, it never worked, because something went wrong, if something happens, even something you have to deal with, and then since you don't have the strong reason, you start questioning, why do I spend my time on it? Why should I deal with this, with something that I don't want to deal with? I don't want to spend my time on it just because it brings me money. But okay, something else also brings me money. If I want to diversify, but if it bothers me, what is the reason? And then when you ask questions, and again, it's a matter of choice. Some people would say, and it's also very healthy, that okay, I'm doing it because at the end it will bring me the profit, for example, or I want to risk it to earn more. But for me, it was always like I wanted to do something that I like doing, and luckily, again, I consider myself lucky. Well, maybe it's not the luck; it's because I do something that is needed or that people like. But if I earn money from this and it's decent money, why would I want to go and do something else? So it's a matter of being honest with yourself, with what you really want. Do you want to earn more money and you want to sacrifice your interests to earn more money, and you have some plan, like in 3-5 years, to do something else? Okay, you're honest to yourself. You answer to this question, and you go for it. If you're not ready for it, and when something, going back to your question, something goes wrong, and you see that, I don't want to deal with it, then you don't do it. So I think the most important thing is, again, to know exactly why are you doing, what it is that keeps you going, what is the interest.
Yeah, this is a true example of how passion for work matters more than anything. Thank you very much. I'm done with my questions, and honestly, all of what you said, it's very useful. Just so many things that I never imagined would be in business or generally. Thank you very much.
No.
And I would also thank you for your really precious advices, and I think that this really inspired me, not only your company but also the advices you gave, that some sensitive points that you touched were really interesting. Once again, thanks for everything.
Oh, thank you. I actually want to thank you, because the question, I was a bit, I wouldn't say I thought, but the questions that you gave to post today, they were very, very deep questions. Thank you for it. I really enjoyed our interview. Well done. I mean, you did a really, really great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
It was our first time, and we're really grateful. Now we would like to ask our ADA students if they have any questions. Would you like to answer them?
Sure.
Thank you.
My question is related to the business. Do you have any advice or tips for the teenagers who want to go to that area and on components?
Advice is, again, the two advices is to have an idea and to do a little bit of research if that idea is viable in this market. So that if that is something that is needed, because sometimes it happens, you really, really believe in something. I genuinely believe if you believe in something, that would work. But again, from business points of view, you have to do a little bit of research of how it's going to work in the specific market.
Okay, thank you for asking.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you that if you ever have any business competitors, how do you deal with problems that may
It's not a problem, it's a challenge, and it's a good challenge. Actually, it's very healthy. When you have a competitor, that means that the market is growing, and that means that you are becoming better. Because when you don't have competitors, you are like, oh, I do everything. I mean, why to change something? But if you have a competitor, then you start thinking, maybe I do a better service. What I do better I do better products. I do something that would be even more unique to not to lose my clients. So competition is actually healthy.
So you don't think that monopoly is something that you would like to?
No, absolutely no. Absolutely no.
You've obviously had a great career and a massive work experience. What is your main fuel that kept you going throughout the whole year in this industry?
What is the main,
Like your main fuel, what made you stay in here, stay disciplined, and continue working on your brand business?
Again, mainly the interest. I really like what I'm doing.
Passion?
It's mainly passion. When I do since I create my products, it's like my business is linked on what I create, and I'm really curious when I create something, when I'm passionate about something, when I have this idea, I want to implement that. This is the first stage, and the second is I want to see how people react. I mean, I want to see I really like hearing the stories about why people bought it. They presented it to, and what it means to them. So this also that keeps me motivated.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.